So what does a typical day at Fox Cubs look like? So you'll know that you've either signed up to be a full-time Fox Cub, which means you'll come every day, Monday to Friday, or you might be a beginning of the week Fox Cub, which means you'll come Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday morning, or you'll be an end of the week Fox Cub, which means you'll come for Wednesday afternoon, all day Thursday and all day Friday. So all days are pretty much the same except for that changeover day on a Wednesday. If you're coming for just a morning or just an afternoon, it looks a little bit different. But I'll talk for a typical day and then I'll explain how the changeover days are a bit different. So every morning we all come in, as I've showed you in the YouTube tour. There's a little tunnel, the entrance into our garden, and in the tunnel we've got a little tray for each child and their peg. All the pegs and the trays have matching pictures, which your child quickly comes to recognise as their tray and their peg. Now, in their tray, they can leave any special items. So if they have a special toy that comforts them or a blankie from home, that's absolutely fine. We're not the sort of nursery who say that nothing special from home can come in. Obviously, if it's really valuable, we would not encourage that. But if it's something that is going to keep that child happy and reassured, we think that's a great idea, and we will just recommend that you label it and keep it in a safe place in their box for when they might need it. So once they've come in, we all come into the nursery and we get busy. And our busy time is normally from about 9 to 11 when we stop and tidy up. Now, during busy time, we have lots and lots of different fun activities set up across the different areas of the nursery, which I've shown you in the video. We have a creative area, a mark making and writing area, we have water and sand, we have a role play area, all sorts of different things. And the children will be learning mainly through play at this time. That doesn't mean that they aren't learning at all. Very often children will come home from nursery and you'll say, what did you do today? And they say, oh, just played. That means that they have had a very, very busy day, and we've succeeded as early years educators, because for children to be learning through play has been proven over and over again to be where the best and most meaningful learning happens, and they won't even realise it's happening. So play is definitely our most powerful tool in educating our youngest children. At 11:15 we sit down for a carpet session, and that might be singing some songs, doing some dancing, maybe using the instruments, looking at our numbers, and towards the end of the year starting to look at our phonics if we are in the preschool year about to move up to reception. At 11:30 we go over to the main school hall for our lunch, and then we return to the nursery for the afternoon for another busy session, another carpet session just before home where we sing our goodbye song, and then time to go home. Now, if Wednesday is your changeover day and you're just staying for the morning, you go home before lunch. So if your child is a beginning of the week only Fox Cub, please remember that on a Wednesday they won't have lunch before they come home. Similarly, if your child is an end of the week Fox Cub, they will come after their lunch. So please remember that when you drop your child off on a Wednesday, they will need to have already had their lunch. Now, if your child is going to be starting their week on a Wednesday afternoon, that session starts at 12. All other sessions start at 8:45 in the morning. We have a drop-off window until 9 o'clock though, so don't worry if you have other siblings to drop. We are open from 8:45 till 9 for drop-off. So what do you need to bring to Fox Cubs? The most important thing is every child needs a hooded coat. Nursery learning is active and outdoors, and even if it's raining, we're often out there because we're having lots of fun splashing in the puddles. So we would always recommend, even if it looks like a lovely day, bring a hooded coat. Lots of nursery Fox Cubs just keep their hooded coat on their peg at all times. They also need to bring a hat, a sun hat. Some children in Fox Cubs like to have a Bisley sun hat, but you can bring any kind of sun hat you like. All Fox Cubs will have their special nursery bag, and in their Fox Cubs nursery bag we always ask that you have a change of clothes. That can be because of toileting accidents that might happen. It can be because we're having a lot of fun in the water or the mud, or maybe we slip over and we get a bit wet, but it's always nice for the children to have their own clothes to change into first and foremost. Fox Cubs have lots of spare clothes, so don't worry if they have more than one accident maybe in a day. It's not a problem, but we always find the children prefer to have their own clothes. We also recommend that you bring a pair of wellies, because we get lots of digging in the mud happens, and although a lot of our garden has astroturf, so artificial grass, we do have lots of flower beds and the vegetable patch to do digging in, so we can get a bit muddy. There is a wellie cabinet where you can keep your wellies safe if you want to leave them at fox cubs, or you can bring them in and out on wet days only. When it's the summer months, we recommend that you keep a tube of sun cream with a label on it in your child's special tray, so that we can apply sun cream throughout the day. If your child is in nappies, we ask that you bring a large pack of nappies at the start of your time in fox cubs, a few packets of wipes, and any nappy creams that they use, all labelled up. As the nappies then run down, we will let you know if it's time to replenish your nappy stock. We store all the nappies at the nursery. You don't need to bring them to and back each day. Each child has their own cubby hole inside the nursery where we store all the nappies and the wipes. So if you are having, bringing a child who's still in nappies, that's what we need you to bring. If your child has a nap, again, that's something we'll talk through at the home visits or the one-to-one sessions. We have a sleep room, and it's absolutely encouraged, if your child needs that nap, that they carry on having it at fox cubs. There's absolutely no rush or pressure for your child not to nap just because they're at nursery. We have travel cots and sleep mats, so we have a different variety of ways that they can have their naps, and we tend to have the naps after lunch. If your child is going to have a nap, they need to bring a sleep kit. Now, in our cots and on our mats at fox cubs, I personally think for my own children that they wouldn't have been very comfortable lying straight on the mats, and also for hygienic reasons that isn't the best idea. So what we recommend is that you bring quite a thick, maybe like a toddler duvet or a more chunky blanket for your child actually to lie on, which we will lie over the mat or over the base of the toddler cot, and then also a blanket for them to have to cover them. So if they're still in a sleeping bag, that's absolutely fine. You can also bring that, but it's important to remember to bring a blanket for them also to lie on as well. If they have a dummy for their naps, that's fine. That can go in the sleep kit. Also, any special kind of cuddly toys or blankies, again, that can all come in. Please, again, make sure everything is labelled. We send home sleep kits every half term for washing, but if you would like your sleep kit to come home more frequently than that, to be washed, please just let us know, and obviously if we think it needs a wash, we'll also send it home with you. We don't wash the sleep kits at nursery just because we've found that certain children like their sleep kits to smell of their particular washing powder at home. We've had, sort of times where we've washed the blankets for children and they've said, oh, it doesn't smell like my blanket anymore, and that's not very settling for a child as they're about to go to sleep. So we sort of tend to stick to, unless it's an emergency and it really needs a wash straight away, that washing of sleep kits is done at home. If you have decided that your child is going to have packed lunch, and I'll talk about that in a minute, you'll need to bring your lunchbox every day. And last of all, you will need to bring every day a labelled water bottle, and that's mainly for having drinks in the garden. We do have jugs of water and cups where we practice pouring and having with our snacks inside, but it's also nice to have a bottle that we can grab and go in the garden. So I mentioned a little bit earlier about nappy kits and what to bring if your child is wearing nappies. If your child is moving on to toilet training, at Fox Cubs we are really supportive of exactly how the parent wants to do this. So if you have a particular strategy or a particular approach you'd like to take, we will always follow your lead. However, if you're feeling a little bit lost and you're not sure how to approach toilet training, we're also there to offer lots of support. And Mrs. Charters in particular can give you lots of specialised kind of advice and help if you are finding it difficult. Toilet training and when it happens and the speed and the success varies so much from child to child, and it really isn't anything to worry about. It's something that we more than expect to have to deal with in Fox Cubs, and if your child is toilet training, the top tip from me really is just to bring as many spare clothes as possible and not to be disheartened if it doesn't go perfectly straight away, because sometimes it can be quite a big process, other times it can just happen straight away. But it's something that we've seen many times and nothing worries us really. So just, you know, come along and we'll, you know, try and help as best we can.